Welcome to the Big Fat Real Estate Checks podcast with Marco Kozlowski, where we help investors like you get the knowledge and skills you need to replace your JOB with passive cash flow for life.
Hey everyone, welcome to Big Fat Real Estate Checks. I'm here with Gabriel Araish and Franca Galuccio, where we'll be discussing all sorts of neat things regarding to using other people's money to buy real estate and to build your generational wealth platform or series of inventories or plethora of properties. That sounded pretty good. I'm going to have to use that in the future to have as much wealth as possible and learn the skills necessary in order to amass as much wealth as possible on the side hustle, and not necessarily do this full time, but have the skills necessary in order to master processes that will allow you to make more money, have more time, and to be able to do things that you really love to do. Like I just did, spent a week in Mexico, lost my passport, had to get a new one, had to change flights over and over again. But it was absolutely amazing trip, and I really, really enjoyed it. And today on the docket, we're going to be discussing crypto versus real estate. And I'm not sure where in the crypto chain or crypto market you're going to be listening to this, but it's always fun to discuss this because you've got some people that are all about cryptocurrency, and those that are all about real estate, and both go up and down. But I think one goes down a lot faster than the other one at different times in the marketplace. So let's have that fun discussion. So I'm not sure who wants to go first. I'm going to nominate Gabriel.
Well, I don't know where we start, but what are we going to compare here first? Real estate in terms of maybe valuation. Let's start with that. Sure. So real estate, if you've listened to this podcast, you know that real estate has a specific valuation process, especially if you're looking at commercial. The numbers drive everything, right? There's income, and from income you derive eventually a value. So I'm not going to go back through this whole process again. We have 80 podcasts behind us where you'll be able to learn about this. I think how do you value a cryptocurrency? And again, I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert here in any means with respect to cryptocurrency, but it is sort of the flavor of the month or of the year so far. So obviously there's a lot of reading going on. If you're on Twitter or any other social media platform, I think TikTok now is like the new thing, which I think I'm already too old for. So crypto has been in the news a lot, and it's been fluctuating a lot. So we've seen things like Bitcoin go from $5,000-$6,000 or $8,000 to $64,000 now, back to what is it today, 30, 35, 38, who knows. How do you value that? And that's sort of what I'm having a hard time with is how do you establish value on something that I don't want to say doesn't exist, because I'm probably going to get a lot of hecklers coming at me, but on something that's extremely virtual, where I'm not quite sure how to use it yet. I know that you can buy and sell things with, specifically Bitcoin. I'm not sure about other cryptos. There's so many out there. How do you value them is something that is a bit of a concern to me right now. So even if I were to hold any asset or a cryptocurrency, which ones are considered assets, which ones are considered stores of value? Because if we're comparing to real estate is to a certain extent a store of value. In you can park your money there. Is it going to fluctuate? Yes, over time it will. If you look historically over tens and tens of years, historically property values have gone up. Now, has it been always steady? No, there's been, a crash. If we're looking in the U.S., 2008, 2009, there was, a pretty heavy correction. But now if you look, what are we in 2021, 10 years later, that value has all been recouped, if you will. So in essence, holding with time is going to always get you a winner in real estate. And this doesn't even include cash flow if you're making cash flow off your properties. But this is where cryptocurrency, there's at least so far, not that I know of, and if you're a listener out there and you're able to correct us on this, feel free to send in an email. But I don't think you can make cash flow with the cryptocurrency right now. So you're 30s. only using its value on it going up or down, and this is where you can either make or lose money. But I've never seen a real estate crash like the cryptocurrency crash that just happened, which was like something like a 30% correction or something like that overnight, and that's happened more than once. If I go back to 2017 and whatnot, I think these types of crashes have been more common in that field. So yeah.
I want to play the devil's advocate for just a second, because if you had actually bought Bitcoin back in 2017, and it would have skyrocketed much more than real estate. So if you compare apples to apples as far as valuation goes, yes. And has there been a 30% dip in real estate? Yeah. As you said, the crash happened. It was more than 30%. Yeah. It was 40, 50, sometimes even a third of its value. We were buying properties in Las Vegas, 3-bedroom, 2-bath that were worth $400,000 for $25,000. That we sold off when they hit, again, 300,000. We bought,
but they weren't overnight, right?
No, it took time.
That's right.
And it comes back to buying it right?
Correct.
So, or stock, buying it right. So, look, I have Bitcoin, I have Ethereum, Litecoin, I have, different coins. I even, I put a few $1,000s in Doge, which I think was a running joke in my household. But it went to 70 cents and I got rid of it because at that time, and I bought it for 0.0029, right? So it's pretty good. So I did very well with it, but I bought in it to get out of it. And the problem then is obviously capital gain, because I have to pay tax on that difference. So it sucks. And it's short-term capital gain because I didn't hold it for a year. So 30% of that's going to be gone. So from a tax perspective, as a listener should know, you have two partners that are constantly humping your leg for money, and they're humping your pocket, really. One is the IRS, and the second is Murphy. And you have to be aware of those two partners constantly. So if you had bought these Bitcoins back in 2009, right, I bought Bitcoin at just under $100 and then just under $1,300. So I bought twice, and I'm going to be fine even if it goes down back to 10,000. I don't care because I bought it right. Now, alternatively, sorry, go ahead, Gabe, go ahead.
I was going to say, how do you know you bought it right? Because that's what I'm saying, valuation-wise. Like, when do you consider it buying it right? You think you bought it right now because of the price it's at now. But how did you know that at $1,300 or at $100 even, or even at 1 cent, it was buying it right?
I didn't.
And that's right. And that's sort of I guess that's where I have a little bit of and I'm not saying I wouldn't buy it or whatnot. I'm just trying to compare how you can actually determine if you're buying something right in real estate, and then control your potential gains and control your investment to a certain extent, then, with crypto right now, even a stock, a stock has an underlying value based on the assets that the company owns, the management that's there and whatnot. There's a lot of factors, and I'm not saying stocks are better by any means. I think there's a lot of manipulation going in that field as well, but nevertheless, it's very difficult to say, I'm buying something right in that field.
Well, the only reason we know we're buying something right is because of experience. Mm-hmm. And there's not enough experience in crypto, I think, to really determine if it's something is right or wrong yet. Where, if you were buying real estate back in the 50s or 60s or even 30s, did you know then that you were buying it right?
I would say that I don't think it mattered. And again, just to play devil's advocate here, most people who bought real estate at that time, for the main part, you're buying your home, right? That's the first step for most. So if you're buying your own home, you're not really buying it as an investment, at least not as your only thought process. Your thought process, I'm buying a home for my family. So you're gaining from that perspective. Now, the fact that the values have gone skyrocketing since is probably a bonus for most of these individuals.
So again, no one bought apartment buildings in the 30s and the 20s?
No, I'm saying they did. I'm saying the average Joe mostly bought a home first, then maybe went into apartment buildings.
Well, at that time too, though, you could go and at a minimum wage job have a great life. You could work at Ford on the line and still have a house, and you could, be paid minimum wage and have a car and have a house and afford a mortgage, which you can.
And that's the argument for inflation, right? Yep. And that's the argument for cryptocurrency. At least I don't know for all of them, but I know that Bitcoin's been around, I guess, the longest. That's the argument for it. Is inflation is what's going to keep its value up, right?
Yeah, I have
I was just going to say, shut up, Frank.
No, I don't want to shut up. I I gotta say my 2 cents here. My 2 cents, my real 2 cents.
Podcast over.
Podcast over.
You can't buy anything with 2 cents. You can't buy anything.
I know.
You can buy Bitcoin for 2 cents and see how you do.
Yeah, we got rid of our cents in Canada. There's no cents. But no, you know what? Bitcoin, it's digital. Anything digital, like I don't get it. The mining and all that, the different Bitcoins. One guy tweets out something like Elon Musk tweets out something. It goes skyrocket high. Then he tweets something else. It's like, maybe not. And everything goes crashing. Fuck that. Anything that has political news attached to it or politics attached to it. And listen, my opinion is there's going to be a place for cryptocurrency. No doubt there's going to be a place for it. But in my opinion, I think the big governments, they're not going to let someone like OneCoin or Bitcoin take over the digital currency world. There's no way that's going to happen. I think there's going to be a government intervention. They're going to come up with their own US coin. The UK is going to have their own, and they're going to all compete with one another because they're not going to let some other company, take the stage for what's going to be happening in the future. And right now, to me, it's very speculative. Like you said, Gabe, you're buying it to get out because there's no, excuse me, there's no monetary. Well, there's not a monetary value. It's what the market bears, right? That's where people are buying it.
Right.
But you're buying it at 45,000. People are going. Listen, I've seen a lot of people cry and a lot of people happy because that's what you're buying. You're basically gambling. Saying I'm buying it at 45,000 or 30,000, hoping that it'll go up to 45, 50, 60,000. And then the people that bought it at 65,000 or whatever it went up to, and then it dropped, well, they're crying. I like, and real estate, it's tangible. It's something and it has a history. It has comps. It has a history. Like even my 85-year-old father-in-law even knew when I bought my personal house for my family, he goes, buy the neighbor's house. He just said like that, buy the neighbor's house. Like, what do you mean buy the fucking neighbor's house? I can't even afford this one. This is 20 years ago, remind me. Goes, no, buy the neighbor's house. You control your neighbor. That's this thought. You control the neighbors and you sell in 20 years and you make $1 million. If I would have followed his advice, I would have made 1.5 million. 1.5. But again,
you should listen to your dad.
I should have listened to my dad. And listen, my father-in-law. But they bought land back then. They bought land for development. He bought it drunk. He said, "I bought land. It's something tangible." They know that land and real estate always goes up. Period. And it has a long track history. I'm not saying that crypto's not. It will, but it's look, one tweet it brought it down 30%. Like, come on, man.
It's you know what I think it's at its onset, it's still a baby. Cryptocurrency is still like it's almost still a fetus. It's not even born yet because, listen, there's not enough regulation, and I used to be a regulator, and I know that for the markets in general, companies specifically, I feel personally, this is my opinion, that we're over-regulated. There's just a lot. It's a lot for a company to produce all this compliance stuff. But then you got crypto, which is on the total other end of the spectrum right now. So obviously, you have all these different, anybody, like Frank, you can create your own coin. Marco can create his own coin. Like, you got things that are called ridiculous things. Like, you got a tit coin up there. I think I've seen like Elon sucks coin, right? Like, they've just create things, but how do you attribute a value? Is everybody's buying these things with the hopes they're going up and selling, which is what we call a pump and dump. They hype the coin and they dump it. So I think there's still, unfortunately, the ones that feel like they're the most, adopted, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. There's a couple more. They seem to be, caught in this whole metal of all this other crap that these random coins. And I think that, once they get weeded out slowly, and I'm assuming some regulations, they're already taxing this, so they're considering it some sort of asset. There might be more regulation coming along with it. But let's look at how it actually impacts real estate, because I do believe that the technology that all this crypto is on, which is the blockchain, is going to be a significant part of real estate eventually. I think that, just where the title companies could eventually become all on the blockchain, right? Every parcel is a number. If that's going to end up on the blockchain, it's going to be easier to transact, and it's going to probably be cheaper to transact because of this blockchain. So definitely there's a room for it in real estate.
Well, technically, titles are on the blockchain because there's a chain of title. And you can see where every single transaction was in public record. So public record, I don't know, and I know
it's not electronic.
It's not electronic, and I know I'm going to get 10 emails saying you're an idiot because blockchain is completely different than this, but there's still a chain of title where you can loop back and see every single transaction and everything that's ever happened on that title, very similar to how a blockchain works now electronically. It's saved in multiple different sources, which is the difference instead of one source, because if that one source were to go kaput, you'd lose the blockchain or the chain of title at that point. But it's saved in different ways in electronically through another chain, but it's still fairly secure. So from a devil's advocate point of view, the market in real estate is going to go up and down. The market in digital currency is going to go up and down. Are you going to make a lot more quicker it's like a faster, I've said this before, like it's stock, it's a faster process, right? It's you can buy and hold for 20 years. The biggest difference though is, can you borrow money to buy Bitcoin? Are there lenders that will lend money on your Bitcoin to buy it with no assets that you have or not? Big question.
So is it considered as a collateral?
Correct.
Well, that's coming, right? I think there is actually a company that's already lending out Bitcoin, actually, so you can buy things, and they're actually...
But on your Bitcoin, that's on your existing Bitcoin.
Yes.
My question is not, can you borrow on your Bitcoin? It's, can you
borrow
borrow
against it?
Can you borrow against it? Correct.
Leave it as collateral.
Yes. And the answer is?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I haven't done my homework on that. I think it's possible, because that's probably safer than lending against it. You know, for someone, they want to take the collect. If you want to collect Bitcoin, considering, I think that the biggest thing with Bitcoin is that there's only 21 million coins that will ever be available. And the fact that it's a limited supply makes it more scarce. And that's what probably adds a little bit more value to, compared to another coin that has an unlimited supply, like the US dollar, for example. And just that makes it that, if somebody were able to control all of that, or have all 21 million Bitcoins, because, there's somebody out there that wants that monopoly, then the only way they would be able to do this is by actually start to take Bitcoin as collateral, lend money that's, going to be losing its value with inflation. So the US dollar. So we'll give you US dollar for your Bitcoin. And then if you don't make your payments, then we keep your Bitcoin, which in their mind is a safer asset. So I think this is possible. I think it's probably happening.
I know
somewhere,
banks are taking Bitcoin as a payment method and things like that, and certain merchants. Like I said, there's going to be a place for Bitcoin, for digital currency, 100%. I think we're going to have a hybrid for a few decades between the current currency and the digital currency. And I bet you in 10, 20 years, there's going to be, instead of paper, there's the mint or whatever, there's just going to be a computer generating zeros and ones and mining coins.
Go back to the gold standard and...
Or people are fighting to go back to the gold standard when was it Nixon? I forgot who took it away or something like that. But
him, yes.
Again,
yes.
It's going back
FDR,
to...
FDR.
Okay, so why would they use the gold standard? It's a tangible product. It is what it is, and there's limited supply. So...
But that for governments doesn't work, because what they need is to be able to increase the supply, right? So I think that's the kind of the barrier that we have to figure out. And I say we, but it's really going to be, whatever the government decides, they're going to put in rules, and people are going to have to be compliant with them. But I think that the beauty of crypto right now, and I guess Bitcoin to a certain extent, is this potentially protecting somewhat some of your privacy. I think that's the only thing that's different than if a US digital dollar comes, right? Like right now, Frank, let's say you want to go to the grocery store and buy your weekly porn magazine. You're going to pay that in cash. Why?
I don't do the weekly. I do the daily. What's wrong with you?
But why would you pay in cash, right? Like, because you don't want anybody to know that you bought it, right? Whereas if it becomes a US digital dollar, let's say, for example, and cash is no longer existent, just take it hypothetically, then all your transactions, all your purchases will be known to someone. That's really the only difference between cash, or right now Bitcoin, for example, and
listen, if you're trying to hide under a rock, good luck. Especially and if you're using any piece of technology. So if people are doing it for that reason, you're doing it for the wrong reason. They already have you. I'm
just saying that's you're highlighting differences. But let's, if we bring it back to real estate, there's definitely going to be room for something in at least blockchain wise. That's a guarantee, in my opinion. How Bitcoin or any other coin is going to be used, again, I can speculate here. I can speculate that maybe one day banks or whoever lenders are, the alternative lenders will not be lending you cash to buy property. They'll be lending you Bitcoin, and they're going to be expecting interest in Bitcoin. And because it's so, you can divide it in the smallest forms, and you'll be buying property in Bitcoin. It's possible. Now, is it going to be Bitcoin, something else? I don't know. I'm just speculating here, but that's the only way you can keep a
Yeah, but that's
standard.
fine. But how's Bitcoin making me money? How's it making me my residual income like a piece of real estate?
Supply and demand. It's like buying a piece of real estate in Toronto. It goes up in value, but there's no cash flow with it. It's just you have to sell it in order to make money.
Yeah.
So there's no cash flow associated with digital currency. So that's the problem
right now.
So
well, that's right.
So you're
now.
banking on appreciation.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Look, I mean, Frank. Let's just say your tenant is open-minded and your tenant, is into crypto. Your tenant, if you asked them to, could pay you, like they'll just convert their cash into some cryptocurrency that you're comfortable with, and then they'll send that to you. And so that can be done in the future as well, where it becomes mandated by landlords if possible.
I do it now.
So there's cash flow possible.
My
with
tenant,
it's just about you creating.
My tenant in Daytona pays in crypto. He pays in Ethereum.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think he's going to want to do it again next month.
Hold on, Marco. So they pay you. Just say they're paying whatever, $1,500 a month. And what happened if that particular cryptocurrency that they're using today, it's valued at whatever?
Yeah, I made. So he paid
exchange rate.
It's
like an exchange
rate. So
rate.
as it went up, so he pays the value of $1,500 in. So he's going to have to pay more. So last month it was about $3,000. So he paid half of an Ethereum. This month, it might be one Ethereum that he has to pay me. But I'm still getting a percentage of whatever that Ethereum is based on that today's dollar
But
amount.
your number can go down.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So
that's a risk.
that's we're back to where we started.
I'm still getting $1,500, $1,450.
On that day.
$1,450 on that day. And that same $1,450 could have doubled in value the next day or lose value the next day. That's just what I'm comfortable with.
So if Elon Musk or Richard Branson now tweaks, hey, buy this cryptocurrency, it's going to jack up. Or if someone says, you know what, this
it's possible.
This is horrible, it can go down to nothing.
Or Frank, or maybe Marco, what he can do is as soon as he gets the Ethereum, he can sell it that same day, convert it to cash. Like that's an option, right? It's like you collecting US dollars as a Canadian, right? Like I don't know, maybe 8 months ago, 9 months ago, what were you getting for that Canadian dollar, that US dollar? 40%. Now you're getting 20 if you're lucky.
But
so it's the same thing.
So that's being paid in digital currency. But the conversation we're having is not to get paid in digital currency for real estate.
No.
It's the balances between should you invest in real estate or should you invest in cryptocurrency. And I remind you that these are just our opinions. We're not experts in cryptocurrency at all. At least I'm not. Maybe these two are, but I have no. I don't know my brass from my oboe in musical terms. I'm the village idiot when it comes to crypto. I own a lot of crypto. I was very blessed to buy it very early, and no matter what happens at this point, unless it goes down to under $10, I'm going to lose my ass. I've collected it. I've never really paid for it other than, very small amounts a long time ago. So, so with real estate, you can make cash flow and use other people's money to buy it if you do it right. Then now the question is can you do the same thing with crypto? And I don't think you can yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
And even if you could, there's not going to be that many users that's going to make this sort of scalable, if you will. Now, could it in the future? Possibly. Probably likely in 10, 20 years. I don't think it's for right now. Again, personal opinion. I think there is a space for it, but I'm not sure in what format and how long it's going to take before there's sort of an adoption here. And I think the risk of regulation is you never know when the government says, okay, all of a sudden, we're regulating or you're not allowed. Just like gold. Remember gold when they confiscated it? It was like, well, you got to bring it in now and we're going to give you $35 for it. And if you don't bring it and we catch you with it, you're going to jail or you're going to get this ridiculous fine. So, that I think that fear of the unknown is also what's kind of keeping this a little bit at bay for most people.
Frank, any last parting words?
Other than I already have a currency after my name, the Frank. So I can't create my own digital currency.
What happened to that one?
What's that?
A Galluccio, is it Galluccio a currency?
No, is it the
No,
franc?
the French franc.
Oh,
There's already
the
a
franc.
currency.
Swiss franc. What
Well, I got
happened to
eaten
that
up
one?
by the EU, but okay. Well, there you go. The EU took it over, so no different here. What you just said could come to reality. The government is saying, like, I listen. I have no doubt the government's gonna get their hands in there. Like Marco said, there's two partners, government and Murphy, and they're gonna if this does take off, which I think it will eventually, they're gonna put their hands in it. No doubt, they're gonna put their hands in the cookie jar. That's why I'm out on it. I'll stick to the real estate. Listen to my 85-year-old father-in-law and my dad. They're the wiser. They made millions, and developers made millions, right? Just buying land and tangible properties.
Still making. And you know what? At the end of the day, people will always need to live somewhere. And that's one thing that's not going to go away.
This is true. Well, again, this is our opinion. Hopefully you enjoyed this. It's a little bit different flavor than what we normally do. But fun little debate, fun little talk. And we appreciate you as a listener. And again, if you love this, please comment if you have not already. Make sure you leave some comments on iTunes. iTunes changed our algorithm, and we lost like 100... we lost 100 comments for some reason. We have over 300. And,
they're not even government if they're taking over. We just
I know
lost
Apple just sliced 100 of our.
I think they are government.
Yeah, maybe actually their own government. So like it, love it, share it, and subscribe, of course. And always value your opinion. Send us an email if you want to add to any of the comments that we've said here, or educate us on some cool shit. That would be great. Love learning new things. The more you learn, the more you realize you don't know anything. So if anyone can shed some light on this for me, that'd be great. Email is marco@marcokozlowski.com. And I look forward to continuing our journey together, boys and girls, on how to grow our wealth through skill and knowledge and application, not by having more money. And I'm looking forward to being part of that journey with you over the next many, many decades. Gabe, Frank, thanks so much for your help and assistance as usual. And I'm looking forward to the next episode where we will discuss... I have no fucking idea. Tune into the next one. Bye for now.
If you like this episode of Big Fat Real Estate Checks, then show some love by leaving a comment and a good rating. Also, as a thank you for tuning in today, we've got a special free gift. The journey to passive cash flow for a life starts by finding deals, and it's easier than you think. Simply go to getdealsbytuesday.com, enter your email address, and we'll send you a free quick start course called Deals by Tuesday. Even if it's 11 p.m. Monday night, this course will show you how to find discounted real estate deals by Tuesday. It's that fast and simple. Go to getdealsbytuesday.com and start your journey toward life-changing cash flow today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.